product knowledge, selling with a consulting and educational mindset. Brian, I'm going to go ahead and start with you. Well-Built Americas is known for your factory training and operator in-service sessions. What does rep and operator education look like in 2020 and 2021?
There's a paradigm shift coming in the industry, in particular food service industry. The pandemic has shown that dealers can work remotely. They can be very productive without the brick and mortar. And without that brick and mortar, you're not getting people together like we normally do in food service and handshakes. So manufacturers have to look at how we drive that behavior, how we change that behavior digitally. We have to give easy access to information. Digital resource training has to be easy to access, and it has to be very thorough. Sales solutions that catch the attention of somebody has to be very brief, but to the point. Because there's not enough time to research the multiple brands and options that are out in the industry now. You know, we're a consultative sell product in a construction-based industry. We support end users, menu, and quality, and we're moving into the digital world. So we have to have a unified customer experience, portals that allow them to go in and log in and see their details and information on their particular orders. Has to be self-service, reduce the cost, make it very easy for them to go in and find the information they need, much like sanitation solutions, probably what's up behind me right now. Very important across our brands and the safety in the industry now. Ghost kitchens, the new buzzword that's out there. Well-Built has been an industry leader in ghost kitchens for years, but you have to understand what the offering is, the capability to get in there. The information has to be relevant, again, for what's happening currently, not only in the industry, but of the trends of the product, new products that are coming out. Customer service has to be very personalized. It has to be best in class. And it has to be something that can deliver what your partners want when you want it. It's a very interesting, challenging time going from a handshake to digital, but it's very important. And one of the things that Well-Built is moving directly into.
Absolutely. The self-service and making it easy is something that we're seeing really a lot of people driving towards, and a lot of that comes from the technology you're using. So my next question here is for Eric. Rapids is an early adopter of 3D tools like SketchUp, giving you the ability to immerse clients into their own 3D kitchen before, during, and after installations. What do they need to see to help design new normal sites?
Thanks for the question, Michael. Appreciate it. And thanks for, again, like these other folks have said, for having me be a part of this panel with everybody. It's pretty exciting. And again, you get to see us stumble as well as we try to learn our way through digital communication. So we're learning together here, which is exciting for all of us, I'm sure. And hopefully you feel a little less nervous when you get in your own presentation when we're up here in front of 112 attendees and hoping that we don't make a flub. But thanks for the question. So yeah, we at Rapids have been using platforms like SketchUp for some three-dimensional rendering and design layout services for our customers here for 3 or 4 years now. But it's become even more important as far as our selling process goes and developing trust with clients. And what it really allows us to do is, in the absence of the traditional method, is you go out, you have 3, 4, 5, 6 meetings with a client in the field. You're developing trust the entire way, because the old process was having two-dimensional designs that were either done on onion skin paper or done using AutoCAD, and it was a flat 2D design, which takes a lot of trust for a customer because they may not have the same capabilities as far as understanding what you're getting at. The same can be said of a number of different industries and skill sets, that it was about that trust and gaining the faith of the customers that you worked with. But using tools like SketchUp and developing these 3D renderings really allows us to sit down with a client on a meeting and demonstrate the care and the skill that our sales reps have in developing spaces for them. Additionally, by doing it remotely, Brian just mentioned it, it is more efficient. We used to have to, again, make those trips. And sometimes, especially for us, our headquarters are based in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. A lot of our clients may be more rural and more than a few hours away from where we're at. It's a lot of time on the road to get out. And these new tools have allowed us to sit down, have meetings with folks more frequently, more efficiently, and really get to the core of what they want quickly. So I think overall, having tools where you can demonstrate that, Brian mentioned this too, handshake was always the way to get things done, and now you can't really do that digitally. And it also showed you cared. If you made the trip, if you made the effort, you brought the presentation materials, that showed you were invested in that customer and that client, and that really built trust. What that's translated to now is building a great digital presentation platform which you can convey to your clients the real care that you have and how you present these types of materials, and tools like SketchUp, Revit, developing 3D renderings for them to see and feel the space, even getting as far as creating AR type sets where you can send them out to these folks and they can look around their kitchen as if they're standing in it, is a cool new way to show folks that you're really invested in their projects and that they care, and people have really become more responsive to it. So we've been excited to be able to continue to expand upon that. Michael, thanks for the question.
Absolutely. And I think it is really important, and something that everyone struggles with when we're transitioning into digital, is how to create that trust ability and how to really have those efficiencies improved, but also continue to convey that overall care. And my next question is for you, George. You and your Paradigm MAFC partners are heavily invested in educating both customers and your channel dealer and supplier partners. What do you see as the next steps for Paradigm to make an even greater impact?
Just again, thanks for allowing us to participate. This is terrific. I think the thing with Paradigm has been, I think we've looked at it and said, really, that what we do hasn't changed. It's the relationship building, problem solving, creating content, collaboration, a platform to share. What really has changed is how we're going to be doing that now. And it's a little bit echoing just about everybody here is, we're here today. And I said, if we look back 4 months ago, how many of us have been involved in a team meeting or a Zoom meeting? And I look today and go, we probably hadn't been involved in 3 or 4 in our life. And this is probably going to be 1 of 6 or 7 in this week alone, or maybe even this day, right? And so things have already changed. And so I think we just looked and said, how are we going to continue to build relationships? How are we going to educate? How are we going to do this? And what are the things we're going to do? I think from a Paradigm standpoint, we're already working on a lot of these things and working on virtual and working on our digital and social media platforms. I think the thing is exciting, if we can take a cup half full out of these times, is the adoption and acceptance is going to accelerate. So what was maybe offensive to somebody 6 months ago, where you would ask to do this and not come see them face to face, has now become the new norm. And so we're going to be able to take that and run with that. I don't think that face-to-face visits are going to go away completely, but we're facing a change in the way we do business and even our clients. So I think Paradigm, just tackling this, like, what do we do in a couple of fronts, is we've looked at, like, how are we as a group collaborating with each other? How are we collaborating with our factories, with our dealers, and our operators? And so from a Paradigm standpoint internally, just some vertical solutions on how are we cross-training our own salespeople, and not necessarily product. It's more operations driven. How are we best practicing, using our best practices and sharing that? And so we formed a team of our internal team. So this isn't just Mike and I and the owners of the Paradigm companies. Our internal teams are very involved in their sales training, sales solutions, our CRM training. What are we doing? We've got a marketing team who's developing content and really working on how and we're going to market in what vehicles. We've got a technology team who's building all that. So we created our own vertical solutions internally, and then working with the factories. Again, it's like Brian touched on, it's product training, it's virtual training, it's sales training. I think for us with Paradigm, we're also developing our our CRM program from a data sharing. How are we going to collaborate with our factories moving forward on our marketing successes, what were trials and tribulations, so that we're using their teams. Also from a CRM standpoint, how are we transferring information on projects, and how are we helping them maybe in their future forecasting by SKU, by product, and trying to really close some loops and make us all more efficient, more effective, getting the industry knowledge or the street knowledge back to the ground level and as close to the manufacturers as we can. On the dealer side, we're working really hard on both individual websites, but also a Paradigm portal where all of our training videos are now being recorded and building our libraries. I think working with our CRM on order tracking, project tracking all the way down to demos and checkouts, and trying to make that information 24/7 and be a better service to any of our dealer partners. We've also created now a marketing portal where all of our templates, so we're able to now use all of our resources and create templates that we use for our own social media or for our own digital media purposes, but making all of that available to our dealers. So now that they'll have access to that to use on their own, or we've got access to develop things and get that to the street faster. I think one of the most exciting things we're excited about is we're creating some platforms, what I'll just call operator collaboration. So, we've looked in the past, if I pick like K through 12 and go, man, we've had school shows, we've had national school shows, you've got a NAFM, you've got a NRA, you look at all these this ability to get people together to communicate. And we've lost the ability to use those as a collaboration platform. And so just creating a meeting place now where we can get K through 12 school food service directors in a platform where maybe there's some training and education going on, but really it's a collaboration allowing them to share some things. So we're just trying to figure out and working really hard on, again, at the end of the day, our job hasn't changed, but man, how we're going to do that has changed immensely. And so that's really where Paradigm's at right now and the things we're working on.
Yeah, I think the how is really important. And you mentioned early on the acceptance of that how, and that's been something that's driving a lot of different successes with how digital is being brought to the forefront, and digital within the collaboration, but then also marketing, which that leads us to our next poll here.